Happy Lent, everybody. I find it hard to believe that this Wednesday is Ash Wednesday already. It seems like we just finished Christmas, but time moves forward. And Lent is a time of spiritual renewal in the church, and I think we need that spiritual renewal more than ever this year after a couple years of COVID. But I think we're starting Lent in a really good place in terms of COVID. The numbers are down. The hospitalizations are down. There's just much less virus out there. So I think it's way more safe now. And what I'm going to encourage you to do, if you're not coming to Mass regularly now, I want to suggest that you consider coming back. I think this would be a good time to do it at the beginning of Lent, and I think it's much safer now than it has been in the past. And I think it's really important that we gather together every Sunday and we celebrate the Mass together. It's really important in terms of our spirituality. And I think for a number of reasons. I think first of all, sometimes we get on kind of the treadmill of life and there's so much going on and there's so many demands, and sometimes a whole week can go by and we don't even think about God. But if we come to Mass once a week, we have at least that hour or two that we're going to reconnect with Him and kind of examine our lives. It gives us an hour or two of downtime, so to speak, and I think we really need that. And if we're not coming to Mass regularly, sometimes a week or 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and we haven't even thought about God. And we really need God in our lives all the time. And sometimes we try to do it on our own, but that usually doesn't work out so well. So I think it's really important to reconnect with God and with our community once a week. The other reason why I think it's really important that we come to Mass is because if you're going through a time where you're questioning your faith seems weak, you're having a difficult time trusting God, just being in a whole faith community is going to strengthen your faith. It's going to make you feel better. And of course, there's a whole church full of people that you can talk about your faith with. It's a very safe place to talk about your faith, right? We're all on this spiritual journey together, and it's really important that we can connect and support one another. We try to have some kind of fellowship after all of our Masses and all of our events to give you a chance to connect with people. So now I think is a good time to reconnect with old friendships and maybe create some new ones. So I think that's important as well. I know there are days when I'm thinking, why am I doing this, And all I need to do is come back and be here with all of you, and now I know I'm doing it. So it really strengthens my faith as well. And I think it's really important that we receive the Eucharist regularly every week. We become what we receive. We become more and more like Jesus the more we receive the Eucharist and the more we connect with Him. So that's important as well. And it's really basic to our Catholic religion that we come together, we pray together, we worship together, we sing together, and we have to do that physically. That's really important. It's true that you can pray any place, and you can, and that's personal prayer, but this communal prayer is really important for our spiritual development as well. And I've had some parents ask me recently, should I force my kids to come to Mass? And absolutely, you should force them to come to Mass. If you give them the choice, if they can stay home and sleep on Sunday morning, or if they can play video games, or they can stare at their phone, they're going to choose that, right? But as parents, you need to decide what is really a worthwhile spending of their time on Sunday morning. And really their spiritual development is really important. They really need to come. And I know I sympathize with parents, because I think if you have several children and they're younger, and getting them up and getting them dressed and getting to Mass on time and all of that, it's difficult. But know that that's really good for sharing your faith with your children. It's really important. I really encourage you to bring children to church. If they make a little bit of noise, that's absolutely fine. If there's no crying, your parish is dying. So please bring your children and encourage them to come. I think what has happened over the last couple years with COVID is that we've developed some new habits. I think probably before COVID, many of you were just in the habit of coming to Mass every Sunday morning or on Saturday if you come on Saturdays. And you really didn't think about whether or not you were going to come, you just came. And that's what happens when we keep repeating something over a period of time. It becomes habit, and we don't think about it anymore, we just do it. You may have thought about which Mass you're going to go to, but you probably didn't even question whether or not you were going to come. Over the last couple years, you've been doing other things on Sunday morning, and you've developed some new habits. So, and maybe that's sleeping in, maybe that's going on social media, maybe that's going out to breakfast, whatever that is. But my guess is you're not thinking about it so much anymore because you've been doing it week after week after week after week, and now you're just doing it. So I'm going to invite you to think about that and see if, whatever you're in the habit of doing on Sunday morning now, is it more important than attending Mass? And I would suggest that if you think about it, you're probably going to conclude that Mass and God are more important than whatever it is that you're doing otherwise. So I would encourage you to develop a new habit. That habit of coming to Mass every Sunday is a really good habit. And if you commit to coming to Mass every week during Lent and every week during the Easter season, by the end of the Easter season, you're going to have a new habit. You're going to have the habit of coming to Mass every week, and you'll just do it. You'll just do it. You know, I think over the last couple years, and currently we're focused on physical problems because of COVID. And I think over the next year, 2, 3, we're going to be focusing on the emotional and mental effects, psychological effects of COVID. And all of that isolation that we've experienced hasn't been good for us. You know, it's been difficult. And many of us are working from home. So you've lost your work community, you've lost your work friends. And I've been asking people recently, are there friends that you don't see anymore? Is there extended family that you don't see anymore? And everybody says yes. There's a lot of people that they've just lost touch with. And we need to reestablish those friendships. And I think many people are just feeling more comfortable being alone by themselves. And that it really is not healthy. We need those support systems in our lives. God created us to be relational. That's the way He created us, and we need to be in contact with other people, in relationship with other people, and have all of those support systems. I read a study recently of Americans, and almost half of Americans report that they have fewer than 3 friends. That's not good news. And 12% of Americans reported that they don't have any friends at all. And that's a problem. That's a problem. We have to reestablish those friendships. We have to reestablish those connections. And because this has gone on for so long, we're going to have to kind of push ourselves to do that, because we've developed these habits of isolation that aren't healthy for us. Now we're going to continue to do stream the Masses. If you are sick, you should stay home and watch the Mass, watch the streaming Mass. Definitely, you should stay home. If you have some mobility problems and you don't think it's safe for you to come out in the ice and snow, absolutely stay home and watch the streaming. If you you're part of a vulnerable group and your doctor has told you to stay away from big crowds, of course, stay at home and watch the streaming. You may want to talk to your doctor, though, about that and see if he recommended that you avoid crowds in the past. Maybe you don't need to do that anymore, and maybe he would encourage you to get back with groups of people. We have a vibrant community here at St. Edith. Everybody belongs here that wants to belong here, and you have people to walk the spiritual journey with, and you can connect with people here. And as I said, we try to always have some kind of hospitality with all the events that we have, so that gives you the opportunity to connect with other people. There's so many people that I haven't seen in a couple years, or seen very sporadically, and I really like to have everybody back. I miss you.